All right, here we go. So this is the TechT dry spring, and this is the factory dry spring, the black one that I was running with a shim on the end. You can see the factory spring is probably about an 1/8 inch longer. This TechT, you can see, let me get a little closer there for zoom, is significantly thicker wire gauge and noticeably stiffer. So I'm going to run it by itself with the factory hammer first, and at a later time, if I don't see what I'm looking for, I may add in the shimmed spring as well, but let's let her fly with just the spring. I'll also be installing the Lightened valve spring. Now, now that I have my TMC open, this is the factory valve spring for the TMC. This Lightened valve spring was actually designed for the 98, but they do offer two sizes. There's a 3/4 inch length and a 1 inch length. So I ordered the 1 inch length, so it's a hair shorter. But when I'm squeezing these, I don't know if this is actually going to behave like a Lightened spring, because to my expert grip strength, the factory spring actually feels lighter than this one. But this one is new. This one's been cycled, you know, a whole bunch of times, so let's see what it does. All right, Lightened valve spring from TechT. At least it seems not really lighter, but a hair shorter. And heavy drive spring, factory hammer. Best was 330 on a 12 gram. So let's see, did it do anything? Oh, little fart there. I'm okay with that. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't cock the marker first, so well, let's just see what it does. $340. Hey, that's a 10 FPS increase. $336. $334. Dry spring, unshimmed drive spring too. So, yeah, we may have to shim it next. But we are going to run the Lightened hammer first. So that would be this guy with the what appears to be Delrin insert. The main reason I want to run this hammer, it wasn't for a lightened effect or a heavy effect, but to my surprise it came with this slug, so it doesn't behave like a lightened hammer with this slug installed. Is it lighter than the factory hammer? I'll throw it on the scale for you guys. But the main reason was that tit on the end. That tit is going to depress the poppet a little longer, like a fraction of a second, probably not even detectable without measuring velocity. Here are the hammers side by side. So factory hammer, TechT paintball, Lightened hammer. And you can see now it's quite obvious the tit I was talking about, if you didn't know what a tit was. So let's get this over with here. Let's Zero the scale out. The factory hammer is 138.73 grams. The lightened hammer, with the Delrin bushing is 68.32. And with the, what appears to be a steel slug, 111.70. So even with the slug, it is still lighter than the factory hammer. Something else to note, obviously, this has a very high polish on it. So, let's see what it does. Here we go. Lightened valve spring. TechT drive spring. TechT lightened bolt with nylon insert. So this is in its lightest form. Obviously, same 3.7 gram ride balls. We'll caulk the marker this time. Fresh 12 gram CO2. $300. $296. $294. So definitely took a hit in the velocity department. So lightened hammer, not good for, at least if you're chasing velocity. Grand finale. Lightened valve spring. Heavy drive spring from TechT. Lightened hammer with the heaviest slug installed. Let's go. 3.7s again. Caulk marker. Fresh 12 gram CO2. Best was 340 feet per second with the factory hammer, but the TechT drive spring. Can we beat it? Negatory. $326. $324. That is all she wrote, guys. So it would seem the factory hammer is better. It's heavier. Like I originally suspected, that heavy mass carrying into the valve pin does in fact keep the valve open just a hair longer. Now, if this TechT hammer was as heavy as the factory hammer, then I think we probably would see a gain. As it stands in its heaviest form, it shoots about stock. So I think what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna look at adding a tit to the factory hammer, or I could try and increase the weight of the TechT hammer, which may be more complicated than I originally thought because it is two pieces
say for instance, I like melted some lead or something into those speed holes to increase the weight. The fact that it's two pieces, they're not going to bond together, I think, and the motion of the marker is probably going to crack that, and it's going to end up inside and bung up my marker. So there'll be a process coming. I do have a heavier dry spring, the one from China. Probably try and shim this one in the meantime, and I will go back to the factory hammer for the time being, while I try and work through, you know, whatever small gains I can get. So for now, I think the dry spring that TechT sells is a good option, and it is available separately. I'll put the links down in the description below for these parts. What you decide to do with them is up to you. I would probably skip the hammer at this point, but the hammer spring, it gets a thumbs up from me. And the Lightened valve spring, unfortunately, the way I tested, I tested the Lightened spring, valve spring with the heavy dry spring, so tough to say which one there was actually the factor in gaining that extra 10 FPS, but I'll be honest, the valve spring, it was like $2, so I think the dry springs are $12 or something. Anyways, onwards and upwards. But wait, there's more. End of the day bonus footage. Went back to the factory hammer, added a shimmed spring that I stole from my M17 heat core regulator. I'll show it right here. You might recognize that. That is from inside your velocity cap, or sorry, inside the valve seat in an M17. 3.7 grams. I also reinstalled my Delrin bolt that I had tested some time back that had an additional O-ring seal, because why not? So fresh 12 gram cocker marker. You can see with the extra spring in there, it's still cocked. Here's CO2. 340 is the number to beat. That sun is right in my eyes. 348. We beat it. 344. Sorry guys, I'm blinded by the light. 340. So the shimmed hammer spring, shimmed TechT hammer spring, dry spring, however you want to call it, another additional 8 FPS. I think I'm going to try full auto next. Not in this video though. Oh, they're going everywhere today. Wow, that was 18 rounds. Almost expelled the whole 12 gram CO2, which means I have almost maximized the 12 gram usage by one shot. That's pretty damn close. That may be where I leave it. Catch you on the next one.